وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياءهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم يا كريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني يجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. فقلت: نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه. يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي. قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه الله إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. فقلت نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتعذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن أمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه، يا رسول الله، أتعذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يعلمني ما يعلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا مدحيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبريل: يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبريل: يا ربي أتعظن لي أن أحبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبريل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، العلي الأعلى يقرئها السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تعزلوا لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك فدخل جبريل معنا تحت الكسام فقال لي أبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله هما ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
بر محمد و آل محمد بلندتر صلوات. غازی کی شجاعت کا یہ عنوان بھی ہوگا. غازی شجاعت کا یہ عنوان بھی ہوگا. مشکیز میں دریا ہے تو طوفان بھی ہوگا. مشکیز میں دریا ہے تو طوفان بھی ہوگا، عباس کے پرچم کو ذرا غور سے دیکھو، عباس کے پرچم کو ذرا غور سے دیکھو، پنجہ ہے تو بیعت کا گریبان بھی ہوگا، پنجہ ہے تو بیعت کا گریبان بھی ہوگا، غازی کی شجاعت کا۔ درود پڑھ دیں محمد والے محمد کے ذات پر۔ ایک بار اور درود پڑھ دیں محمد والے محمد کے ذات پر۔ میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، در علی پہ جو دی ہے صدا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، یہ پنجتن کے سروں سے بلند رہتی ہے، یہ پنجتن کے سروں سے بلند رہتی ہے، جناب زہرا کے سر کی ردا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، کمر کے زخموں پہ ملتا ہوں خاک کرب و بلا، کمر کے زخموں پہ ملتا ہوں خاک کرب و بلا، ہے بے مثال مرض اور دوا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، صدا یہ دیتا ہے کعبہ بروز عاشوراء، صدا یہ دیتا ہے کعبہ بروز عاشوراء، میں محترم ہوں مگر کربلا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، یہاں پہ آتا ہے زائر کو لطف جنت کا، یہاں پہ آتا ہے زائر کو لطف جنت کا، زمین کرب و بلا کی فضا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، حدیث یوں تو سبھی معتبر ہیں نور علی، حدیث یوں تو سبھی معتبر ہیں نور علی، قسم خدا کی حدیث قصہ کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے، در علی سے جو دی ہے صدا کمال کی ہے، میں باکمال ہوں، میری دعا کمال کی ہے۔ درود پڑھ دیں محمد والے محمد کے ساتھ۔
باری دیگر نعرہ صلوات، نعرہ تکبیر،
تھوڑا جاگ کے پڑھیں گے. نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ رسالت، نعرہ حیدری، نعرہ حیدری، ور محمد وآل محمد، بلندتر صلوات. تھینک یو. دیکھیے گا کہ زینت بزم کسا، زینت بزم کسا ہے سید سجاد سے. بھئی زینت بزم کسا ہے سید سجاد سے، زینت بزم کسا ہے سید سجاد سے، اور رونق فرش عزا ہے سید سجاد سے. بھئی رونق فرش عزا ہے سید سجاد سے. رونق دیکھیے گا کہ کس طریقے سے امام حسین کے اس آخری سجدے کو حضرت سجاد کے سجدوں سے اور آنے والے تمام سجدوں سے ملایا ہے کہ زینت بزم کسا ہے سید سجاد سے، رونق فرش عزا ہے سید سجاد سے، اور بندگی کو اوج حاصل ہے تو ایک سجدے سے ہے. بھائی بندگی کو اوج حاصل ہے تو ایک سجدے سے ہے، اور اوج سجدوں کو ملا ہے سید سجاد سے. اوج سجدوں کو ملا ہے سید سجاد سے، اور ساری دنیا سے سمٹ کر آ رہے ہیں حر یہاں. دیکھیں گواہی دیجیے گا کہ ہم حر کے ماننے والے ہیں، حر ملا کے نہیں، کہ ساری دنیا سے سمٹ کر آ رہے ہیں حر یہاں. کربلا قبلہ نما ہے سید سجاد سے. بھائی کربلا مفتی بھائی کربلا قبلہ نما ہے سید سجاد سے، اور شام و کوفہ میں شکست فاش اپنی دیکھ کر. بھائی شام و کوفہ میں شکست فاش اپنی دیکھ کر، خوف میں ظلم و جفا ہے سید سجاد سے. بھئی خوف میں ظلم و جفا ہے سید سجاد سے. اور مولانا سید حسن ظفر صاحب کا یہ شعر ہے، ایک لکھا ہوا کلام ہے کہ منقبت لکھی ادھر پائی شفاعت اس طرف. بھئی منقبت لکھی ادھر پائی شفاعت اس طرف، یوں ظفر پایا صلہ ہے سید سجاد سے. ایک دفعہ مل کے بآواز بلند نعرہ صلوات. کچھ شعر اور آپ لوگ کی سماعتوں کی نظر، کہ زندہ خدا کے دین کا پیغام کر دیا. دیکھیے گا شہزادے کی شان میں شعر ہے کہ زندہ خدا کے دین کا پیغام کر دیا، 9 لاکھ نام والوں کو بے نام کر دیا. بھئی زندہ خدا کے دین کا پیغام کر دیا، 9 لاکھ نام والوں کو بے نام کر دیا. اور جو ذوالفقار کرتی تھی میدان جنگ میں، جو ذوالفقار کرتی تھی میدان جنگ میں، اصغر نے مسکرا کے وہی کام کر دیا. آپ جی ہیں بھئی نعرہ حیدری. وہ دیکھیے گا کہ دونوں جہاں کی مانگتا نعمت حسین سے. بھئی دونوں جہاں کی مانگتا نعمت حسین سے، دونوں جہاں کی مانگتا نعمت حسین سے، کم ظرف مانگتا رہا بیعت حسین سے. بھئی دونوں جہاں کی مانگتا نعمت حسین سے، کم ظرف مانگتا رہا بیعت حسین سے. اور اے شیخ جانا چاہتے ہو جنت میں، اے شیخ جانا چاہتے ہو جنت میں، ٹھیک ہے، اے شیخ جانا چاہتے ہو جنت میں، ٹھیک ہے، لینی پڑے گی پہلے اجازت حسین سے. بھئی لینی پڑے گی پہلے اجازت حسین سے. اور آیا تھا سب سے دیر میں. دیکھیں میں ہلکے سے پڑھ رہا ہوں لیکن اس کا مطلب یہ نہیں ہے کہ شعر ہلکا ہے، کہ آیا تھا سب سے دیر میں لیکن کمال ہے. بھئی آیا تھا سب سے دیر میں لیکن کمال ہے، حر سب سے پہلے لے گیا جنت حسین سے. بھئی حر سب سے پہلے لے گیا جنت حسین سے. اور دیکھیے گا کہ اے مومنو، عقیدے کا شعر ہے کہ اے مومنو نماز سے غافل ذرا نہ ہو. اے مومنو نماز سے غافل ذرا نہ ہو، ماتم کرے گا ورنہ شکایت حسین سے. اے مومنو نماز سے غافل ذرا نہ ہو، ماتم کرے گا ورنہ شکایت حسین سے. اور بس تھوڑے سے شعر اور اس کے بعد اجازت، کہ ستم گروں کے ہے لب پر سوال کیا ہوگا. دیکھیے گا میری انکل کے ستم گروں کے ہے لب پر سوال کیا ہوگا، ستم گروں کے ہے لب پر سوال کیا ہوگا، اگر دلیر کو آیا جلال کیا ہوگا. وہ اگر دلیر کو آیا جلال کیا ہوگا. اور ہنسی سے جس نے اڑائی ہیں ظلم کی نیندیں، ہنسی سے جس نے اڑائی ہیں ظلم کی نیندیں، ذرا یہ سوچیں کہ اس کا خیال کیا ہوگا. ذرا یہ سوچیں 6 مہینے میں کہ ہنسی سے جس نے اڑائی ہیں ظلم کی نیندیں، ذرا یہ سوچیں کہ اس کا خیال کیا ہوگا. اور خدا ہی جانے ظہور امام مہدی پر، خدا ہی جانے ظہور امام مہدی پر، فدق کے لوٹنے والوں کا حال کیا ہوگا. فدق کے لوٹنے والوں کا حال کیا ہوگا؟ اور آخری شعر، فدق کے لوٹنے والوں کا حال کیا ہوگا؟ فدق کے لوٹنے والوں کا حال کیا ہوگا؟ اسی لیے تو ہے ورد زبان نام علی، اسی لیے تو فدق کے لوٹنے والوں کا حال کیا ہوگا؟ اسی لیے تو ہے ورد زبان نام علی، ہمیں پتہ ہے لحد میں سوال کیا ہو۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ فاتحہ۔ بآواز بلند صلوات، ہما صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ بی بی زینب کی شان میں ایک کلام پیش کرتا ہوں، بآواز بلند صلوات، ہما صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ چادر سے اپنے دین کا پردہ بنا دیا، چادر سے اپنے دین کا پردہ بنا دیا، زندہ حسین ہے یہ جہاں کو بتا دیا، زندہ حسین ہے یہ جہاں کو بتا دیا، باد حسین دین کو چلنا سکھا دیا، باد حسین دین کو چلنا سکھا دیا، کیسے بتاؤں ثانی زہرا نے کیا دیا، کیسے بتاؤں ثانی زہرا نے کیا دیا، بے تیغ لڑی تو علمدار بن گئی، بے تیغ لڑی تو علمدار بن گئی، خطبہ دیا تو حیدر قرار بن گئی۔ بآواز بلند صلوات۔ یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، کمال خلقت پروردگار ہے زینب، نبی کا مان علی کا وقار ہے زینب، جلال رب کی ایک آئینہ دار ہے زینب، کلام کرتی ہوئی ذوالفقار ہے زینب، جو جانے کون و مکاں ہے یہ اس کی بیٹی ہے، جو اپنے باپ کی ماں ہے یہ اس کی بیٹی ہے، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، علی ولی سہی پایا خدا نے زینب کو، بطول جیسا سجایا خدا نے زینب کو، جیلوں میں اپنی جلایا خدا نے زینب کو، یہ سوچ کر ہی بنایا خدا نے زینب کو، علی کے خواب کی تعبیر ہو تو ایسی ہو، حسین کی کوئی ہمشیر ہو تو ایسی ہو، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ شعر دیکھیے گا، اسی کے دم سے سر شام ہر اجالا ہے، اسی کے عزم نے اسلام کو سنبھالا ہے، ہر اعتبار سے جو معتبر حوالہ ہے، اسی نے گود میں اس کربلا کو پالا ہے، علی کے لہجے میں جب یہ کلام کرتی ہے تو اس کو نہج بلاغہ سلام کرتی ہے، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، نشان کفر ابھرنے نہیں دیا اس نے، خدا کا دین بکھرنے نہیں دیا اس نے، لہو کا رنگ اترنے نہیں دیا اس نے، کسی شہید کو مرنے نہیں دیا اس نے، خدا کے دین کی سب زیب و زین لگنے لگی، یہ کربلا سے جو نکلی حسین لگنے لگی، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، اسی نے رحمت رحمان کو بچایا ہے، اسی نے عصر کے امکان کو بچایا ہے، اسی نے عظمت انسان کو بچایا ہے، اسی نے بولتے قرآن کو بچایا ہے، نہ ہوتی آپ تو یہ دین بدل گیا ہوتا، لپکتے شعلوں میں اسلام جل گیا ہوتا، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، اسی نے لاش کیا پائے مال بیعت کا، ہر ایک ذہن سے کرچا خیال بیعت کا، کچھ ایسا کر دیا زینب نے حال بیعت کا، نہ ہوگا حشر تلک اب سوال بیعت کا، بس ایک بار میں ربط حیات کاٹ دیا، طلب جو کرتا تھا وہ ہاتھ بھی کاٹ دیا، یا علی یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، دیا ہے دین کو اس نے دوام خطبوں سے، کلام رب کو کیا اس نے عام خطبوں سے، اجل کا کام لیا بے نیام خطبوں سے، الٹ کے رکھ دیا دربار شام خطبوں سے، دل حسین کا عکاس بن کے بولی ہے، کبھی علی کبھی عباس بن کے بولی ہے، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، قدیر ذات کی قدرت نے بھی سلامی دی، اسی کو غازی کی بیعت نے بھی سلامی دی، اسے حسین کی جرت نے بھی سلامی دی، اسے علی کی شجاعت نے بھی سلامی دی، سروں سے زام خلافت اتارنے والی، سروں سے زام خلافت اتارنے والی، یہ ہے یزید کو گھر جا کے مارنے والی، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، آخری شعر پیش کرتا ہوں، رواں جو سینے میں دم دم بدم ہے نور علی، کھلا ہوا جو سروں پر علم ہے نور علی، ہمارے پاس جو ہے یہ فصل غم ہے نور علی، یہ شاہزادی کا ہم پر کرم ہے نور علی، یہ آج تک جو عزائے حسین جاری ہے، دل یزید پہ زینب کا خوف طاری ہے، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، یا زینب کبریٰ یا ثانی زہرا، صلوات محمد و آلہ
محمد و آل محمد صلوات. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Just have a few announcements. First of all, our next program will inshallah be on the 15th of Shabaan. We'll be sending out the date and timings for that via email and through WhatsApp. Also a friendly reminder for our parents with the younger children, if we can kindly, if possible, to avoid using the stage, especially during the majalis. We understand it's kind of hard to maintain it for the whole duration of the program. With that, we have also added, we have opened up the other 2 rooms at the back. There's one room next to the Azakhana, and there's another room in the second corridor, the annex area. So those rooms are heated, they are open right now. If you do need to use them, please do use them. But let us try and keep it the noise level a little low if possible. Yeah? Now, for these last 3 nights, we have been blessed to have Maulana Hayder Shirazi join us from BC. I just wanted to take a moment on behalf of the community and thank you for taking the time in joining us and blessing us during these last 3 nights. And I sincerely hope that we'll be seeing you again, inshallah, in the next 2 to 3 months. And I also want to thank you on behalf of the community for assisting and taking the time to research and putting in all the efforts in arranging the Salat timetable for us. We have had discussions with other community members and other communities as well. But alhamdulillah, it's nice to see that this timetable is also it gives it legitimacy through the offices of Ayatollah Sistani and Aga Khamenei. So inshallah, we will be officially sending it out. We'll send the current copy out through the WhatsApp groups, and inshallah, we'll also modify it further to have it centered around our center's logo and everything else, and we'll once again send it out via email. With that, I'd like to call Maulana to come and recite the lecture. By Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. The topic that we have for tonight is on 3 subjects. One is on Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam. We'll talk a little bit about Munajat Shabaniyya, that is the Munajat that we have for the month of Shaban. And again, we have a little bit, I'll talk about the era of return and zuhur of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. May Allah accept these services from every one of us, count us all among the best of the servants of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, our children to be enlisted among those of the best of supporters of Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam was born on the 5th of Shabaan, and his shahadat is either on the 12th of Muharram or the 25th of Muharram. Imam Sajjad, the time that he was living in, it was a very difficult time because he is the son of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and it's the rule of Yazid la'natullahi alayhi. So Imam is on the surveillance, and no presentation whatsoever is permitted, allowed to the Imam. No khutbahs, no leading of prayers, nothing whatsoever. Tafsir also of Quran, he is not allowed. And when people, they used to come and ask questions, they used to say, Muawiyah, Yazid and all them, they used to say that whatever questions you have, ask our ulama. You don't need to go to the Ahlul Bayt, alayhimus salam. What you see now from the Wahhabi lot, and then people being sent to every other person and being away, kept away from the Ahlul Bayt, it is the policy of Muawiyah, policy of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, which continues from then until now. So keeping people away from the Ahlul Bayt, alayhimus salam, that was their policy. Now Imam, despite all of these sanctions on him and not being able to have any kind of presentation, he continued with his mission for 40 years. Now one of the ways how Imam, he continued with the mission, isko ban kar दूं ye wala? So yeah, it's okay. Another salawat. One of the ways how Imam continued with this mission is because there were slaves over there. Imam used to buy slaves and maids in thousands of numbers and then educate them. Educate them once they were all qualified, and Imam used to free them. They become propagators of deen, propagators of Islam. One of the other ways how Imam continued with his mission is that because he was not allowed to have any kind of presentation, Imam, he used to recite Quran loud in the house for the family members and used to give the tafsir of the ayat. And people who are in the streets, they used to stand by the house of the Imam and listen to the tafsir of the Imam alayhi salam. So that is one of the other ways how Imam continued with his mission. The rulers during the era and the reign of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, first of all it is Yazid ibn Muawiyah, la'natullah alayh. Then we have Abdullah bin Zubayr, we have Abdul Malik bin Marwan. Each one of them worse than the other, and it was the rule of these rulers and the time of Imam alayhi salam. Now it's a time where people are being drifted and kept away from deen, from religion. And Imam, he tries his best, and in different ways he continues with his mission. One of the ways is by du'as. Du'as that you've seen the du'as in Sahifa Sajjadiyah or Sahifa Kamila. They're all the du'as that have been reported from Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. Now, if you look into those du'as, so many times Imam keeps on repeating Allahumma salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The reason for that is, it is the time when reciting salawat is forbidden. And the rule of Muawiyah and Yazid ibn Muawiyah, also Abdul Malik bin Marwan, they used to say, you recite salawat but not upon Ali Muhammad. Muhammad was good, but not Ali Muhammad. So they removed Ali Muhammad. Allahumma salla ala Muhammad, that's it. Now most of these qasidas and the poems that qawwalis also you listen to, they have salawat on the Prophet, al has been removed. That al that has been removed, it is from that policy of Muawiyah, Abdul Malik bin Marwan, Yazid ibn Muawiyah, la'natullahi alayhim. So we have to be cautious and careful. If you are reciting something, pick something that has Ali Muhammad in it, so that we also don't want to be the followers of that policy. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, in the du'as, he emphasizes on the recitation of salawat. For example, du'a makarimul akhlaq starts with Allahumma salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad and then continues. Munajat Shabaniyah that we have, again, Allahumma salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wasma du'ai idha da'autuk, and continues. There's another salawat after a few sentences, another salawat. Salawat Shabaniya also, it's a small salawat, about half a page. In that half a page, 11 times Imam repeats that salawat. That is the emphasis to fight the policies of those mala'in at that time. Now when you look back into the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, the importance that we have for salawat, it's amazing. Hadith says that وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. Allah, He chose Prophet Ibrahim as His friend, as that Khalil. Or the rank of Khullat was given to Prophet Ibrahim. Why? Here Imam says, إِنَّمَا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا لِكَثْرَةِ صَلَوَاتِهِ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَأَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ. Because Prophet Ibrahim, he used to recite a lot of salawat on Muhammad and the household of Muhammad, Allah chose him and gave him the rank of Khullat and being the Khalil, Khalilur Rahman. So salawat has that impact. In Surah Al-Baqarah, you know the story of Bani Israel. Someone was killed, was murdered, and they came to find out who the killer is. No one could find out. Allah sends a message to Prophet Musa that the Bani Israel, they need to slaughter a cow. Now they made it complicated. Allah said a cow. If they had kept it simple, slaughtered a cow, it would have been a cow. They said, what kind of a cow? How old should the cow be? What color should the cow be? When they made it too complex, Allah also made it very complicated for them. He said, okay, slaughter a yellow cow. Now, yellow cows, you don't find yellow cows. There was a yellow cow in that place, and the mother, the owner of that cow, the son, he has a dream that Allah sends him that message that, yeah, you sell the cow to them, and for the price of gold, that is, the cows can be filled with gold coins. That would be the price of that cow. Bani Israel, they wanted to know who the murderer is, who the killer is. So they find this cow and they say there's no other option. It's a yellow cow and we have to slaughter the yellow cow. The mother says, okay, I'll give you the cow, but for the price, the skin of that cow be filled with gold. They said, okay, we accept. Now all the wealth of Bani Israel has been transferred to this young lad and the mother. Now here, when they inquired as to what happened and how they had the yellow cow and they had to sell that cow and all the wealth be transferred to them, says it was because that young boy was taught to recite salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, Salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, as a result of which all that barakat were given to them. So salawat has that impact. Now that he's become so rich, he needs security to protect his wealth. Again, that protection is given to him by the recitation of salawat. So salawat, it is important. And this month, Shabaan, it is the month of salawat. So recite salawat as much as you can. And by the recitation of salawat, we are not providing anything to Rasulullah. What we say is, Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. It is Allah and the angels who are reciting salawat on the Prophet. Now, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Salla ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And by the recitation of salawat, we get purified. If you look into Ziyarat Jami'at al-Kabira, there says, Ja'ala salatana alaykum tiban li khalqina. That is, when we recite salawat upon you, the Ahlul Bayt, you, the Imams, we get purified. وَالطَّهَارَةً لِأَنفُسِنَا. Our nufus, our souls, they get cleansed, they get purified by us reciting salawat on them. That is, when you recite salawat, you get connected and bonded to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, as a result of which you are purified. Now, we believe in the Day of Judgment. We believe that whatever is being done is being collected in our a'mal, good and bad, good actions and bad actions. Hadith says, says ما في الميزان شيء أثقل من الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. In your mizan, in the balance wherein your actions are being collected, there is nothing heavier, weightier than the salawats that you recite upon Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Salawat. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now another quote says that من لم يقدر على ما يكفر به ذنوبه فليكثر به الصلاة على محمد وآله فإنها تهدم الذنوب هدما. If your sins were so many and you found no way to get them forgiven, the easiest way that could destroy the wrong and the sins that we have done are the salawat that we send upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. On the day of judgment, Malik, he is the caretaker of the hell. To him the instructions are given that the a'mal have to be placed on the balance, on the scale. If the actions were heavy, the heaven is to be given. If the actions were light, it is the hell that will be assigned. There he says that a person is brought, he places his actions on the scale, finds them light. According to the instructions, hell has to be assigned to him. When he is being sent to the hell, there Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, he is by this mizan. There Rasulullah says, wait, takes out an envelope from his pocket, places it on that scale, becomes heavier now. Now says, what do you say? It's heavy, so the heaven. Then Malik asks Rasulullah, what was in that envelope that you placed and it made his actions heavy? Rasulullah replies, the salawats that you recite upon me and my Ahlul Bayt, they are credited into a special account that is with the Prophet. And on the day when we all will be in need, it will be returned to us by the Prophet, and there we will be eased and we will be helped on the day of judgment. So that is the beauty of salawat. Another homework, another task, that this mouth has to be occupied with zikr. Ala bi zikrillah tatma'innul qulub. Now many questions, people are having problems, they have financial issues or job losses, whatever the problem be. The best solution to all of them, it is salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the other issues is that the a'mal, the actions that we have, we do so much, but even then we don't get what we ought to get. For example, if it is said to us that to see the Imam alayhi salam, you need 100,000 hasanat. Now if you analyze your actions from the morning till night, you would see that we have done so much and we've already accumulated those 100,000 hasanat, maybe even more, in less than a day. You've done your Fajr prayers with taharat, you've done your du'as, you've recited Quran, you've served, you've helped, you've worked, and you've accumulated all of those hasanat, but still we don't get to what we have to get to. The reason for that is wherever these actions and a'mal are being collected, there is a drain there. Everything just leaks out, leaks away, nothing gets collected. So we have to secure and find where the flaw is, where the fault is. And if you could secure that, then the actions and a'mal, they be collected and you would get whatever you want. So, now when you look into the teachings of the Ma'asumeen alayhimus salam, their Imam says there are sins that we commit that hinder du'as, that they do not allow your du'as to be granted. First of all, Imam, he says that there are sins وَالذُّنُوبُ الَّتِي تَرُدُّ الدُّعَاء. In Dua Kumail you say Allahumma ghafir li al-dhunub allati tahbisu ad-du'a taqta'u ar-raja, and so on and so forth. So there are sins that would not allow your du'as to be accepted. Az-zunubul lati taruddu du'a, that repel and return your du'as, they are bad intentions towards others, meaning intentions that are not divine. Aims and intentions are bad. If someone has a bad heart or intends bad for others, his du'as will not be accepted. Evil intentions, or sometimes the inner self of a person is bad. Khabus as-sarira, khubs as-sarira, or su'an niyya, nifaq ma'al ikhwan, with brothers, with mu'mineen, hypocrisy, saying something on the face, behind their back something else. So that also becomes a barrier in your du'as being accepted. One of the other reasons why du'as are not accepted, تأخير الصلاة المفروضات حتى تذهب أوقاتها. Now this is something we have to give a lot of importance to it. Importance to prayers on time. Even delaying prayers for no reason, that also results in du'as not being accepted. ترك التقرب إلى الله بالبر والصدقة. And if you have been given the opportunity, you can help, you can give sadaqat, you can help someone in need, and you don't. That also becomes a reason for du'as not being accepted. Swearing at others, although nowadays they say that the more you swear, you are a cool person. That is bad. You're not allowed to. Mouth has to be clean. Eyes have to be clean. Ears have to be clean. Cleaning not with the mouthwashes and Q-tips, etc. Clean means from sins. Because there are 7 doors to the hell. Likewise, Allah has given 7 inputs to the soul. The 7 inputs, the 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the mouth, and the 2 private parts. Says you guard them, you protect them, you will be safe from the heaven. Not everything are we allowed to see. Looking at women, or looking at non-mahrams, not covered, etc. Haram, not allowed to. We don't. Likewise, not allowed to listen to everything. If there's someone being accused, or there is music that is vulgar, that is bad, or contents or messages that are evil, listening to them, seeing them, reading them, forwarding them, all that is not allowed. Many a times you say that it's nice, it's a joke. It's not a joke. 50% of the joke is reality, and 50% of that, it's an subliminal message that the sender is sending you to laugh and then forward it, and then for others to make a mockery. Indirectly, many of these messages, they are a mockery of religion at times, mockery of the sacred and the divinity that we believe in. So we have to be extra cautious. Not every message are you allowed to read. Not every message are you allowed to send. Not every message are you allowed to forward. Now on the day of judgment, people, they will regret. One of the names of the day of judgment is Yawmul Hasra. Yani Hasrat ka din, the day of regret. An taqula nafsun ya hasrata ala ma farrattu fi jambillah. That is, he would say that, woe be unto me, I fell short of my duty to Allah. They come to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam and they say that, what is this Jambillah? Imam says Jambillah is Amirul Mu'mineen. That is someone who fell short of service or kept away from Amirul Mu'mineen and the Imams and the Ahlul Bayt. He will regret on the day of judgment. Here, Muawiyah la'natullah alayhi, Yazid, they kept everyone away from Amirul Mu'mineen, away from the Ahlul Bayt. They did not allow them to get messages or the information from the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So we have to be careful. If you want to know something from deen, you don't ask Siri or you don't ask Google. You ask someone who is sensible, who is learned, who is qualified. All of the Maraji Taqleed, they have a website. You write to them, you get an answer from them. You don't get answers for your religion from Google. All that is not allowed. And most of the times it's wrong. So these are things that we have to be careful. And a person, Imam Sajjad, and he sees that a person is sitting by the house of a rich man. Imam, early in the morning, Imam says, what are you doing here? He says he's a very good person. I'm waiting for him to wake up, open the door, and then I want him to help me. Imam says, I'll teach you something, and the way you would get far more than what he would give you. He says, what is that? He says, come to the mosque, just offer a 2-rakat prayer, and after that you recite the 6th ayat from Suratul Hadid, and then the last 5 ayat of Suratul Hashr, and then the 2 ayat from Surat Al Imran, and ask Allah. He will give you whatever you want and far more than what you expect from this rich person. So Ma'asumeen alayhimus salam, all the way throughout the lives of everyone, they helped, they connected them to namaz, to prayers, to du'as, etc. Now this Imam Sajjad, he performed numerous hajj on foot, bare feet, and that is that height of love that he has towards the Almighty. He wept for the Karbala for 40 years, and the title given to him is Zain al-Abideen, that is the beauty of the worshippers. The ruler of his time, one of them is Abdul Malik bin Marwan, la'natullahi alayh. Imam comes to the Haram, to Masjidul Haram. Abdul Malik bin Marwan is also present. He knows the Imam. Now what happens is he's waiting to get to touch the Hajarul Aswad. No one allows Abdul Malik to enter. The moment Imam Sajjad enters Masjidul Haram, the mob, the crowd, they open up, and Imam, he walks into and goes straight to Hajarul Aswad. Abdul Malik, he got jealous. He says, who was he? For him, everyone opened up, and then he was led to the to Hajarul Aswad. Farazdaq is the famous poet of Ahlul Bayt. He was standing by Abdul Malik. He says, you don't know him? He said, no, I don't know him. He was lying. He knew who he was. He said, I don't know who he is. Farazdaq started a qasida, a poem that was in the honor of the Ahlul Bayt, and starts saying, lauding, praising, هَذَا الَّذِي تَعْرِفُ الْبَطْحَى وَتْأَتَهُ وَالْبَيْتِ يَعْرِفُهُ وَالْحِلُّ وَالْحَرَمُ. You don't know him? This is someone who the city of Mecca knows. This is someone, Hill and Haram, they know. هَذَا ابْنُ خَيْرِ الْعِبَادِ خَيْرِ عِبَادِ اللَّهِ كُلِّهِمُ. He is the best of the servants, of all the servants. This is him. He is that taqi, he is that naqi, he is that pure, and that is his title. And then his grandfather, all the perfection and kamalat, they ended upon his grandfather. He lauds and praises him so much, and there, that is Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam. Wa salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the other things that I'd like to mention over here, it might be a little more than the time that you have allocated for me, but it doesn't matter, inshallah. It is the month of Shabaan, and soon we'll be embarking on the month of Ramadan. Some things need to be addressed. One of the munajat that we have for this sacred month of Shabaan, it is munajat Shabaniyya. The creator of munajat Shabaniyya is Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And this is the only dua that we have that has been reported from all of the Imams. Every single Imam has reported this dua. Although the name is Sha'baniyya, but it is all season dua. You can recite whenever you want. And if you want to connect and bond to the Almighty Allah, that is one of the best of ways. And if you look into the translation of this dua, how beautifully Imam, he explains and he teaches us to bond with the Almighty. Starts with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, and repeatedly after every few sentences Imam says that. Starts with wasma du'ai idha da'awtuk, that Allah, listen to me when I call upon you. So we've got dua and we've got munajat. Dua means to call out loud. Munajat means to whisper. So here Imam says, God, when I call you, listen to me. Wasma'ad nidai idha nadaytuk, and listen to my call when I supplicate to you. Waqbil alayya idha najaytuk. That is, even when I whisper, O God, listen to me. Now, why listen to me? Then Imam teaches us how to speak to Allah, and that is with wisdom. فَقَدْ هَرَبْتُ إِلَيْكَ. That is, God, I've run away, I've fled from everyone, and I have come to you. The only outlet in every dead end is Allah, tabaraka wa ta'ala. Whenever you get frustrated, whenever you have problems, just come sit facing the Qibla or just bow down in sajda and say, Ya Allah, help me. You say, Ya Ghiyas al-Mustaghisin, help me. Now Prophet Musa, he reports a hadith, a person, Prophet Musa, he says that, Ya Ghiyas al-Mustaghisin, helper, help me. One labbaik is heard. Ya Arham al-Rahimin, he says, and he says labbaik. When he says, Ya Ilah al-Asin, Ya Ilah al-Muznibin, Ya Ilah al-Khati'in, O Lord of the sinners, the wrongdoers, there Allah says, Labbaik, 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 3 times. When you go to the A&E here, the accident and emergency, if it's someone who needs acute attention, the patient is taken immediately to the theater and there he is treated. But if it's someone normal like you and me, just coughing and having temperature and fever, we have to sit there for 6-8 hours until the doctor sees us, because there's no acute emergency. So people who have done wrong, who have sinned, Allah looks at them quicker, faster. So we have to present ourselves. Imam teaches us that when you come to the Almighty, tell Him that, God, I am that wrongdoer who has come to you. That is how He has taught us. Now this is confession before Allah, and I think mention in the previous sessions that confession before others is haram, not allowed. I can't come and tell you these are the sins that I have done. You can't tell me what you have done. No, that is between me and my Lord, whatever wrong I have done. If I come and say that to someone else, that is another sin on top of all the sins that were done. The same thing is for the young men and women who want to get married. They say that, okay, tell me your past. Don't need to tell your past. You have no right to tell your past, whether it is negative, positive, whatever it is between you and your Lord. If she says, if she emphasizes, if he says, if he wants to know what and what not, you have no right to say that. That is, Allah, He is Sattarul Uyub. He covers the wrong and He covers a lot. When He is covering and He has given you that divine protection, who am I to tarnish and to break that? I have no right. And if I do that, I have done another sin on top of all the wrong that I have done. Now, in the same Munajat Shabaniya on page 22, there Imam says that, Ilahi, another salawat please. On page 23, Ilahi in haramtani faman dhalladhi yarzuquni. That God, if you deprive me, is there anyone who can help me? He can't. No, there's no one. The only one who can help me, bail me out, is Allah. Wa in khazaltani faman dhalladhi yansuruni. And Allah, if you defame me, who will help me? There's no one. The only one, it is Allah. And then towards the end of it, Imam teaches us how to talk to Allah with wisdom. There he says that you tell Him, Ilahi wa Sayyidi, God, in adkhaltan an-nar fafi dhalika sururu aduwik. God, if you were to put me in the hell, your enemies will be happy. Iblis will be happy. Wa in adkhaltan al-jannata fafi dhalika sururu nabiyyik. If you sent me to the heaven, your Rasul will be happy, your Prophet will be happy. And I know for sure by God that for you the joy of Rasulullah is far more than the joy of your enemies. That is how you present yourself with wisdom, with justice before Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and He loves to talk to His servants. That is Allah Jalla wa Ala. It is the month of munajat, the month of salawat, the month of bonding and connecting with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Another salawat. Now, we are fast approaching the month of Ramadan, and in the month of Ramadan, now that you know what time exactly Fajr is and what time Maghrib is, so we know that that is the window we have to fast. In fasting, taharat is required. That is, if on someone ghusl janaba, that is the major ghusl, becomes wajib as a result of the monthly cycle for women, or because of birth, for example, or there has been a physical relationship, or there has been a seminal discharge, in such cases ghusl becomes wajib. And that ghusl has to be performed before Fajr. So for the fast to be valid, a person should be in the state of tahara. That is, ghusl has to be done before Fajr. If that ghusl is not done before Fajr and the time of Fajr enters and starts, then a kafara automatically applies on that person for knowingly not performing ghusl. Kafara, and also it's a compound kafara. 60 fasts, freeing 60 slaves, and then feeding 60 people, plus 1 kafara and qaza fast. Now these 60 fasts that we have, 31 of them, they have to be consecutively without any break. That is, after the month of Ramadan, you will have to fast for 31 days without any break. And then the remaining 29 fasts, you can do it whenever you want later during the life. But 31 have to be done in a stretch. If in those 31 fasts, you did 30 on the 31st day, you could not, then you have to start all over again. It is that difficult. But if you know the rules and you stick to the rules, then it's easy. So before Fajr, if ghusl has become wajib, it has to be performed before the Fajr, whatever that time is. Now in the prayer timing that you have, there is no imsak, because that imsak has already been taken into consideration, so that you don't need any extra ihtiyat. So that is also the good thing about that. So that is precise, accurate, you can do that and start your fast at that time. If ghusl has become wajib and you could not do it, the time slot is too little. For example, if Fajr is at 5:30, you woke up late and you could not do ghusl at that time, you've got just a few minutes left. So in those few minutes, you perform a tayammum instead of ghusl. That will make it lawful for you to start your fast. Niyat will be, I am performing tayammum qurbatan ilallah. Tayammum you do on stone, on dirt, on dust, anything that is part of the earth, not on wood, not on blanket, not on cotton, not on anything you wear. It has to be either dirt and dust, if not any stone, any marble slab. If your kitchen tops, they are made of real stone, you can do tayammum on it. On these kitchen tiles that are baked, you cannot do tayammum on them. मिट्टी के बर्तनों पे भी तयम्मुम नहीं कर सकते because they're all baked. So anything, you can do it on asphalt, on concrete, on cement, you can do. It has to be dry, it has to be clean. If you've got marble walls and you know that they are najis for whatever reason, just wash them and keep it clean. Or the kitchen top, if it needs an ihtiyat, just wash it. And with the intention of tayammum, you take away your rings, you take away your glasses, and then with the intention of tayammum instead of ghusl, you will hit your 2 hands on that stone, on that dirt or dust. And then from where your hair grows here, and from the edge of your palm, like that, you will bring it down all over your forehead and then towards the 2 sides. That's it. Not more than that. If you want, you can bring it down all the way here and to the forehead. So that is even better. So just from the edge of your palm here, from where your hair grows, bring it down and then to the 2 sides. You hit again. The second hitting is mustahab. You hit again with your left hand from here, from your ankle. You bring it all the way down like that. With your right hand again like that, and your tayammum is done. With this tayammum, you can start your fast. You can say your prayers. You can touch the Quran and everything. But now for the other prayers, you've got time. You can do ghusl and you can continue. So this is the ruling. Now for the fast, your fast is fine with this tayammum that you have done. And if you have time in the morning, there you have to perform ghusl for your fajr prayers. So this is the rule. If you have any questions on this, you can ask me later. In tayammum, it is not wajib that you have to have dust. No. On the marble slabs, there is no dust. Even then, your tayammum is fine. So it's a dust-free tayammum that can be done. If it's a glazed stone also, you can still do tayammum on the glazed stone, and this is according to the ruling of all of the maraji. So it has to be on stone, on something that is earth or part of the earth. To make life simple, you can have a little piece of concrete at home, or some dust, and on that concrete also you can still perform. If you've got a wall at home that is not painted, you can perform tayammum on that wall as well. Clear, inshallah? Salawat. Imam al-Asr, alayhi salatu wassalam. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. 15th of Shabaan is the birthday of our Imam, the awaited Savior. And the strongest of connections that we all have to have is with the Imam alayhi salam. On a daily basis, you can have that with the recitation of Dua al-Ahd, Ziyaratul Ahd, after your Fajr prayers. And then on a weekly basis also you can have some kind of a special connection. In this handout, there are 2-3 different ways of how you can connect with the Imam. One is that prayer that has Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'een 100 times in both the raka'at. Recite that, and whatever problems you have, whatever you want spiritually, materially, financially, morally, whatever you want, the outlet this day and age is Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, and he hears, he listens, he is with you, he is with us, especially the mu'mineen, he is always with them. Ana khatamul awsiya. Imam says that I am the seal and I am the last of all of the awsiya. Wa bi yadfa'illah al-bala an ahli wa shi'ati. Through me, Allah, He puts away every affliction, every bala. We see that we are safe. The reason is because of Imam. He has kept us safe. Problems, they are eased. It is because of the du'as of the Imam alayhi salam that everyone is safe. Du'as are being granted. But we are bad. Despite we are bad, we don't listen to him, we are disobedient to him, there are so many flaws in us. Even then, his inayats, his caring, his kindness, his lutf is upon us. That is the beauty of the Imam alayhi salam. Looking into Quran, numerous ayat are there. Statements of Ma'asumeen, amazing. The other day I did recite the hadith Lawh Fatima, when the chain of guidance of the Imams was mentioned, and Quran says, Kataballah la'aghlibanna ana wa rusuli. Allah has written, that is, all of my ambassadors and all of my envoys, they will win. Ana wa rusuli, I and my apostles, they will win. Inna Allaha qawiyyun aziz. Allah is mighty, wise. It is His promise. Now when you look back into the prophethood or the prophetic mission, you see so many prophets were killed. They had aims, they had ambitions, they had missions which did not materialize. Even Rasulullah, he wanted to do a lot. opportunity was not given. All those notorious people around him did not let him. Amir al-Mu'mineen was not allowed. Prophet Isa was not allowed. All of the prophets, they had all those tasks that are undone. So those tasks need to be done. When you recite Ziyarat of Abu Abdullah, you say, Assalamu alayk ya waritha Adama safwatillah. Yani when a father dies, the son inherits from the father. What he inherits? His wealth, his land. What Abu Abdullah inherits from his father is not only just the wealth and the land. He inherits all the undone tasks of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Imam Hussein, he has inherited everything that is undone by all of the prophets, from Prophet Adam, Musa, Isa, Rasulullah, Amir al-Mu'mineen, all of the Imams, whatever was undone by them, Imam Hussein has to do it. That is why we say Thar Allah. We say that, Ya Waritha of all of the prophets. Now, Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam, he also is the same continuation of what he will inherit from all of the prophets, from all of the Imams alayhim assalam. He is the peacock of the inhabitants of the heaven. And when you look back into the era of the return of the Imam alayhi salam, riwayat that talk about the Imam, his existence, his physical appearance, they say he's neither too tall nor too short. He has broad shoulders. He has got a mole on his right cheek. He has such beauty and attraction that whosoever sees him would want to see him again and again. One of the ulama, there is a book, Ayatollah Ray Shahri. He was the Amir Hajj. During the time of Ayatollah Khamenei, he was the Amir Hajj for 10 years. All the Hajis that went to Mecca, he led them. From Iran, 60 to 80,000 Hajis, they used to go to Hajj every year. And he is the head of them. So many of these Hajjaj, they had all these amazing stories that they went through. They used to come and tell him, inform him. And he compiled them all in a beautiful book. One of the stories that he has mentioned over there, one of the Hajis, he says that now when we take these groups to Mecca, we tell them when you want to enter the Masjidul Haram, after reciting the Izn Dukhul, we ask them to keep their heads low. And heads are low until we bring them closer to the Kaaba, and then we ask them to raise their heads and look at the Kaaba. The reason for that is, Hadith says, the first glance and the look you have on the Kaaba, whatever you want, Allah gives you. Whatever you want. So he says that I see myself, I am in Mecca. Mecca is a busy, busy city, especially in the Hajj season. You cannot walk. The traffic is a hustle bustle, honking of horns, all that pollution, smoke. It's extremely busy in the Hajj season. He says that although I was in Mecca, I see there is no traffic whatsoever. No one. No one in the streets, no honking of horns, nothing. And at a distance from the Haram, I see someone extremely Nurani, enlightened, come to me. He uncovered his face. The moment I looked at him, I said, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Such beauty I have never seen. And all of a sudden, he closes his face and he is away, and I see myself, I am in Mecca, the same traffic, the same honking of horns, smoke, everything. He says that, why just a glance, why just a look I was given to see, I was allowed to see of the Imam alayhi salam. He said that because when you looked at the Kaaba, the wish you had, you said, Allahumma arini talat al-rashida. That Allah, just a glance at the Imam I want to have. You asked for a glance was showed to you. That is Imam al-Asr. Everyone, whoever sees the Imam would want to see him over and over again, of a fair complexion, pink cheeks like Rasulullah, black hair, thick beard, nur that shines on his Black hair and beard like a star, he reflects, he shines. Clear, stretched forehead, thin, stretched joint eyebrows. Now all these are the description that we have in riwayat. Long, wavy hair he has, with hair parted in the middle of, from the middle, and then round head, broad shoulders, etc. On the right hand, arm of the Imam is written, Ja al-Haq wa Zahaq al-Batil, Inna al-Batila kana zahuqa. This is the ayah of Quran which says that truth has come and falsehood has vanished, and falsehood is bound to vanish. That is again the word of Allah, that Imam's return is haqq, it is definite, he will return, he will come. Now, one of the other things that we have been mentioned in the riwayat, Abu Basiri says that my father, Imam Baqir alayhi salam, he wore the armor of Rasulullah. It was big for him. The armor of Rasulullah, when Imam al-Asr will wear, it is as if it is made for the Imam alayhi salam, as if exactly it was for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Imam al-Asr, he is Sahibul Amr. He holds the command. Command is his. We say that Sahibul Asri was Zaman. He is on top of everything. Imam is on top of everything. Zaman, Makan, time, place. He is above everything. If he comes here and he says, this Winnipeg, I want this place for me, you can't say we have to have a board meeting and then we'll decide. No. If he says this is mine, it is his, because he is Sahibul Asri was Zaman. Time also, he is above time. Or for example, in Quran, the ayah says in Surah Yasin, that is, he is the whole sole authority and everything belongs to the Imam alayhi salam. Now, Kataballah, that is the word of Allah, he has written, and that Imam will prevail, Imam will win. Or another ayah says that كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون. We've written in the book after the reminder, as for the land, my righteous servants, they will inherit it. So all these are some of the ayat that talk about the definite and the certain return of Imam alayhi salam. Now there's a following within the Christianity. They are known as the Talmudic Christians. The Torah Christians, they are influenced by the Jews. Their faith in brief is that you are waiting for Jesus, help Israel so that Jesus, his return is expedited. You've seen on the streets there in Vancouver, there's a lot. Jesus is coming, repent and be, and so these are the same lot. One of their priests, he has written, his name is Alfred, he's written a book, it's called Ad-Dukhul Al-Thani ila Babil. Babylon Revisited is the name of the book in English. Now, because initially when they entered Babylon, they entered as prisoners of war. Now, to reverse that and to take revenge, they want to return to Babylon, but over here as winners. Now, when you look back into the recent history, the reason why they came into Iraq was with this ambition that they want to come back to Babylon, to Iraq as victorious and winners, but over there again they lost and they had to return. Why? Because Allah, his promise is there. Kataballah la'aghlibanna ana wa rusuli. That is my word, my promises, my envoys, they will win. And that is certain and that was definite to happen. Now, the first of the supporters of the Imam alayhi salam will be from the Eastern Hemisphere, and hadith from both the schools of thought, that is Ahlus Sunnah and the Shia. 80 to 90% of the riwayat that talk about Imam al-Asr, both of us are on the same page. One of those who will help the Imam a lot is Khurasani. One of the other movements that will be in the service of Imam is Yamani, the movement that will rise from Yemen, that what we see now. So all these are indications that everything is moving towards the direction, towards the return of the Imam alayhi salam. Majority of his supporters will be from Iran. The commander-in-chief of the Imam, again, he is an Iranian, from the descendants of Salman, that is Salman Farsi, from that nation. And the first of those who will form the basis and the foundation of the rule of the Imam alayhi salam is also from that part of the world. In the year of the return and zuhur of the Imam alayhi salam, there will be ikhtilaf, a lot of disunity you will see. But Imam, he will return and he will unite the mu'mineen, and Imam will utilize the existing means that he has. And again, in addition to all of that, miracles also will be used by the Imam to fulfill and to implement what he wants to. Among the immediate associates of the Imam alayhi salam is Prophet Khizr. Prophet Khizr, his age is 4,000-5,000 years now, and he is among the right hands of the Imam alayhi salam. Likewise, Ilyas, Prophet Ilyas is also among the immediate associates of the Imam now, and he is among the living prophets. There are some prophets who are living, Ilyas, Khizr, Prophet Isa. That's all the living prophets that we have. Now, likewise, like the enemies we have who have stood against Deen, against the Imam, against the prophets, just like that, we have Imam who is against all of these enemies, and he is the one who is saving everyone. Imam, Ruhi lahul fida, and alayhi salam will arrive in an odd year. The day of his arrival is Friday. Friday is the day of Imam. Most of these incidents and events that we have, birth of Rasulullah is Friday, birth of Amirul Mu'mineen is Friday, Imam al-Asr is Friday, Imam Hussein is Friday, Ashura was Friday, return of Imam will be Friday, the day of judgment also will be on Friday. Now, Friday is the day of Imam al-Asr. Here, on a Friday, 9th of Muharram, he will move from Masjid and will start his mission. And that what is understood from the riwayat is that Yamani will be among the immediate associates and helpers of the Imam. So Yaman will be in the hold of Imam alayhi salam, and Imam will send forth for Yamani when he returns. He will come and surrender the flag to the Imam, bay'at on the hands of Imam. So all these forces, that is Yamani from Yemen, Khurasani from Iran, and then Sufyani from Syria, they will all move on the same day at the same time and towards the Imam and against the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. The next day, that is going to be a Saturday, after Ashura, Imam's mission will officially start, and 2 months after that, Imam, he will stay in Mecca, then he will move to Medina. From Medina, he will move to Kufa. Now, that what we find in riwayat is that the vessel or the means that Imam will use to travel, it is sab'at qubabun min nur, 7 enlightened vessels made of nur. Now, 7, just like what we have nowadays, when these officials, they want to travel, they've got different cars. You don't know in which the official is seated. A similar thing is over here. There are 7 carriers, 7 vessels. One of them is Imam in them. Which one is that? We don't know. That is the security that Allah has created. Riwayat, they state that 10 to 15,000 people, they will join the Imam immediately, and everyone will pour down into Kufa. Kufa is the headquarters of Amirul Mu'mineen, will be the headquarters of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. Masjid Kufa will be his office. Masjid Sahla will be his residence. So not a lot to commute from Masjid Sahla to Masjid Kufa. It's close by. That will be the house of Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. So now, one of the other things that you've heard a lot, that is Prophet Isa joining Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. It is not immediately. Prophet Isa will not come with the Imam on the same day. About 7 to 10 years after the arrival of the Imam, Prophet Isa will join the Imam. And then when Prophet Isa comes and all these Christians who will be in the majority and who are against the Imam, now Muslims, they will all surrender to the Imam. That is, Yemen is there with the Imam, all Iraq is with Imam, Iran is with Imam, the Gulf countries also, they will also slowly join the Imam. Turkey also is among the first who will give the flag to Imam. One of those who will be against the Imam is Syria, that will be lost, but instead Allah will give Yemen to the Imam alayhi salam. The Christians and the European countries, now where Prophet Isa is going to come, that is not known. Maybe in Rome, maybe in Vatican. Some say that maybe in in the Muslim part of the world, but most of the riwayat that we have, they state that it's going to be in one of the European countries, most likely in Rome, that Prophet Isa will return 7 to 10 years after the arrival of the Imam. And then when everyone will see, all the Christians would see that Jesus has returned, and they start chanting slogans in favor of Prophet Isa, and all that rivalry and that hate against the Imam alayhi salam will be cooled down by the presence of Prophet Isa. And when he joins the Imam and offers prayers behind the Imam, that is when everyone will move towards Islam. يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. In large numbers, people, they will enter into Islam, and that is after Prophet Isa alayhi salam, he joins the Imam openly. Before that, he will that connection with Prophet Isa and Imam will be discreet. It will not be disclosed. It will not be open. Now this is a little bit about Imam alayhi salam. جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا, or else تمت كلمة ربك صدقا وعدلا لا مبدل لكلمات الله. Now, from the 313 that we talk about, 50 of them are women who will be supporting the Imam alayhi salam. Now women and men that are going to be among the supporters of the Imam, the basic requirement, the criteria to be among the supporters is everything that is wajib has to be done. Everything haram has to be abstained. Now it isn't as such that you have to go through some kind of a job description and then Imam, you have to send your application to be picked. No. Imam comes and picks you. Imam comes and chooses you at looking at your actions. What are the actions? Just these wajibat and muharramat that we have to be within the parameters. And if we observe them, we are safe. In these wajibat, first things, it's the taharat of the body, taharat of the soul. And then every wajib like salat, like zakat, like khums, like hijab, like beard for men, and every other wajib, it has to be observed. Every haram we have to put away. Now all this is a lesson to myself first and to you all a reminder. Every haram has to be put away. That what Allah has said forbidden is forbidden for you, forbidden for me, forbidden for Rasulullah, forbidden for Imam al-Asr. Everything that he has made haram has to be kept away. Eyes have to be clean. If we want these eyes to see the Imam, they have to be away from haram sights, from haram looks. Only then will these eyes be able to see the Imam alayhi salam. So all these are little things that we have to abide by. If there are flaws in us, if there are haram that is being done in us, with us now, if there are wajibat that are not being observed by us, Allah, His doors of tawbah, doors of mercy are all open as long as we return to Him before the deadline. The deadline is if we see that we are departing and it's time for us to return. Now then, if I say, God, I ask you to forgive me for this haram that I'm doing, for this wajib that I'm not observing, doors are closed now, it's too late. So before it's too late, we have to return and correct ourselves. And may Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala help us bond and correct ourselves, return to Him alayhi salam, and count us all among the best of His servants. Ya Allah, bihaqq az-Zahra wa abiha wa ba'liha wa baniha wa sirr al-mustawda'i fiha 10 times. Ya Allahu, Ya Allahu, Ya Allah. Ya Allahu, Ya Allahu, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Allahumma ahyana hayata Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. وأمتنا ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارة محمد وآل محمد وفي الآخرة شفاعة محمد وآل محمد وعجل في فرج محمد وآل محمد. Mubarak to you all, and may Allah accept us all in His service. Thank you. Salli ala Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا خير خلق الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا حسين الشهيد بكربلاء، السلام عليك على علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، الأمان 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 من فتن الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. دعاء إمام زمان عليه السلام करते हैं. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الله